Well, hello there. Hopefully, you are having a wonderful time before we about to get into another round of wasted Wednesdays. About that wallet Wednesday. So, while I sit here and pour this drink, have myself an early shot, I'll wait for you about 2 minutes to go ahead on and get your drink ready because I think we're going to have a wonderful show coming on today. All right. So go ahead on and get ready, and I'll see you back in 2 minutes. What up? What up? What up, everybody?
Oh no,
So, got that wonderful shot we get started out with.
I am completely sober.
What? You're sober. This guy. Hey, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on. How I'd like to start the show off. For those of you who are new to the show, I want to say welcome. And I just want to welcome everybody who's on right now. I know it's not that many. Just getting started. Some people are just getting out of Bible study. Look like my mom is on. Woo, hey mom. To everybody else,
Hey,
yeah, it's
mama.
it's Mr. Varner, sir. Yeah, it's Mr. Varner. So uh while everybody come on, I'm gonna play some music while everybody come on here. Let's see if I got some tunes. What we got today? What we got today? I need to download some more. Yeah, that's not good intro. That's my drinking music. Got the girls screaming. Woo! All right. Let's see. So Marcus, while I'm up here playing around with this music, can you go down and introduce yourself a little bit, sir?
Hi everybody. My name is Marcus Williams. I am a school-based administrator. I am also a fellow podcaster. I do have a NFL podcast with
Woo!
the Average Sports Guys. You can catch us on Average Sports Guys and find us on any streaming platform. So that is Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you get any of your streaming content, you can find a lot of our stuff. But like I said, I am an educator. I love the podcast, and I'm really into photography. That's literally the long and short of it. I'm excited to be on here with Anthony and on about that wallet. Definitely has time there with the community, and financial literacy is something that we all need. There's always something that we can learn and, apply to our everyday lives so that we can be better and do better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show because we actually have a wonderful, wonderful topic to talk about today.
Mhm.
And that is involving, do you care enough?
Oof.
You know
It's
what
a
I'm
big.
saying?
Hmm.
Think about it. It's like we all we all sit around thinking about like, how can we become our better selves? And everybody want to become better and this and that. But we also don't take time out to really sit down with ourselves and be true to make, Margaret says, as an educator, those smart goals.
Oh, fact.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, are they really tangible?
Oh, I think they are.
Hey, we got Angel in the house. Thank you for joining. So, one of the things about having an understanding of what it is that you want to achieve, most of the time, everything that we want to achieve is already laid out. So, perfect example. All of us want to get those six-pack abs when you go to the beach and just like glistening. Like, sir, you don't need all that glisten. Just just show it to the beach and enjoy yourself. But
Man, facts.
you know what I'm saying? And there's always a I guess you could say a roadmap to having that six-pack, which is eat right.
Hmm.
You gotta do your, what does it call it? Your crunches like
Hmm.
at least 5 or 6 times out the day. Then on top of that, you got to do um your exercises 3 times a week. So there's already a game plan to get your six-pack abs, right?
Hmm.
And but think about, do you really care for a six-pack abs?
I totally understand where you're coming from. I think that the path to success for whatever you want to do, whether it's, fitness goals or financial goals, because it's a financial podcast, it's making sure that you are, thinking long term, or like, because you have an education degree. I don't know if the your audience knows that as well. You have a teaching degree. So there's always, a long term goal, but also setting yourself up with intermittent milestones or short term goals in between your now and your long term goal. Is definitely the process. But a lot of it, like you said before, is rooted in planning, right? So making sure that you, like you said, just using the same analogy, like eating right, making sure you have a fitness plan, sticking to it, and just having that, that mental fortitude and, you know, the grit and the drive to actually, want to do what you want to do to achieve whatever goal you're trying to achieve. But a lot of what you're doing is rooted in planning and scheduling. And I think that's where it needs to start, no matter what you're trying to do.
Definitely. Because and the thing about it though, it's like a lot of people, because like you said, with the financial side of the house.
Hmm.
Perfect example again, I'm trying to plan a trip. I ultimately want to go to I want to go to London just to go. London is very common, everybody wants to go there. But how do I want to go there?
Right.
Ultimately, do I really want to go there? Because you can go there on the cheap. Spirit
Hmm.
will get you there, but you can catch so many connected flights. You might got somebody with the driver's license flying the plane, but
It's going
you'll
to take 2 days in like via Spirit to get there, or are you going to make a plan to save money,
Mhm,
have maybe one or two layovers before getting there?
right. So I want to ask the audience right now because we got about like 6 people in here. What is it that you think that you care, like something that you want, but you haven't put that much effort into it. So let me know what are your thoughts on that.
Mm.
Now, Elizabeth brought up something right quick. She said little attainable goals, small steps.
Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I love that.
That's definitely the roadmap. And if you come from an educational background, or even, I would even say a business background, right? Because you always have your long range plan, but you're also, working to, again, establish those long term, I mean, those short term goals, little steps to help you achieve that long range goal.
Yeah, let's take that back a little bit. So we when I was using the six pack abs a little bit.
Mm.
Now, some people are they don't take action until they plan. So
Mm,
if you don't know, like, all right, perfect example. I want to go to the beach,
right.
but all right, I booked my trip to go to um where would I go? Let's say we go into I say Rehoboth Beach. It's up the street. I would say in Delaware,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And I know people gonna see my body, but all right, I planned it out 6 months out. It's like, all
mm.
right, 6 months out from now, I got 6 months to get my body right because I want to take my shirt off and dip myself in some water. But also, I don't want to get laughed at when I'm wearing my shorts and putting on my oil on and I'm walking down the beach
Oh my God.
in my non speedos. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
But having that small step is like the first thing is to plan it out, like you said earlier. The second thing is what are those two steps, those next steps that you're going to take? Now that you
Right.
got about 6 months, what would you do in that situation if you getting ready for that 6 months vacation to show your body?
Right. So, like you said, developing that fitness plan, like even thinking about, there's first off, there's so many apps out there as far as diet and calories that are consumed based on what you're eating. Literally, you can take out, a dry erase marker calendar and plan out your meal, like literally plan out your meals for the week, actually for the month. Um,
Mm.
your financials, thinking about what you can afford. Also, even all the way down to what gym you want to go to based on the equipment that's there. Because I used to have a, uh, a YMCA membership, but that was like $67 a month.
Oh wow.
Literally get the based well now with Planet Fitness, um, if you're willing to tolerate the lunk alarm uh, for dropping weight,
Right.
you really can get the same amount of equipment and access. I'll say this: access to the same amount of equipment for what, a third of the price, as long as you're not swimming or using basketball or playing basketball. I'm talking about just straight weightlifting and
Mhm.
cardio. I wasn't playing basketball. I wasn't hitting the pool, even though I could have, but it was just something based on my schedule I wasn't using at the time.
Right.
So why spend an extra 40 something dollars for something that I'm not using? So, like you said, it's always smart to have a plan and
Mhm.
think about, where you can essentially, I guess, to quote, what's his face, the George Foreman, trim the fat, not just within yourself, but also financially.
Right.
Um, and a model for that is, this time of year, everybody's preparing for,
Right.
the and trying to achieve their fitness goals.
Mhm.
That model of navigating a fitness plan, but also you can apply that to your everyday life and think about where are other places where you can trim the fat within all of your subscriptions to every service in the world, top of your cable bill, right? Because
Right.
I have Spotify, I do have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
um,
Do you
I
need to watch Encanto 5 or 6 times with your Disney
right
Plus?
Right. I do have Amazon Prime Video. Like, what am I? And that's something that I got to go back and reevaluate. Like, what am I actually using?
Yeah.
My significant other, my girl, Tony, she literally has,
Tony.
yeah, she has a Roku, and she has maybe like access to three of those apps because that's what she uses. And I guarantee you, she's spending a lot less than I am on just utilities and cable. So again, I love your analogy of using fitness goals, but also thinking bigger and thinking about, based on what you're planning there, how can you apply those same principles to other aspects and other parts of your life?
Right. And Elizabeth also brought up a good point here is that the big goals sometimes could be intimidating.
It could
And
be, absolutely, for sure.
yeah, because think about it, like I guess you could say when you look at a large pizza, you're like,
Mhm.
man, that pizza is so huge. How can I actually get through that pizza? Do you call a buddy? Or do you
Mm,
just take one bite at a time, like, yeah, I'm gonna see how far I can go with this bad boy.
right, for sure.
Yeah. And also when it comes to losing weight, but trimming the fat, and I know I'm mainly using weight as a, as you could say, as a not so much a metaphor, but as something that's more relatable,
Relatable.
because when we talk about finances, it does become personal,
It does.
and you can say, all right, and I'm using the weight. You can use the weight with the amount of debt that you have, because if you notice, most people that have a lot of debt usually comes up with a lot of have the weight behind it. Because sometimes you eat, you stress eating and stuff like that. I got so much debt. I have everything that's going on. I don't know where to start, and I just need to do something. I need somebody to help me. And
Right,
having that goal, sometimes I think, you know what, we should change the narrative. Don't say that it's scary. We just need to figure out how.
right.
Instead of saying that we can't, let's figure out how. Because if
Perfect.
that's something that we want to be at, then we're gonna make the steps to make it happen.
Right.
Um, because we were talking about it offline, which was, if you want to make some money and stuff like that, we already know the process to do that, which is spend less than you earn, you know, save up as much as you can or invest.
Hmm.
Try not to do all this fun stuff. But getting out of debt is so hard to do because, one, your environment.
Your
Perfect
life.
example. Yeah. Because it's hard to flex. Like you don't want to flex around the people that aren't doing well. Like it's like you riding around in a, I guess you could say you can ride around in the Maserati, but everybody else that's around you are catching the bus, and all your friends and close friends are doing that.
Hmm.
So what, you have
I
to change the people around you, to
and
kind
I
of reach that goal.
right. And to your point, and what I'm hearing is that one thing that I've done, throughout my life, my adult life, is surround myself with people who are um goal setting themselves, like of course you, Eddie, and a few other people. But also I think it's important to make sure that we're living within our means, and then also again going back and figuring out, like, what do I truly need, and like essentially dissecting my financials and thinking about what are needs and wants and what can I honestly get rid of, right? Like, is it worth, based on where I'm trying to get to, is it really worth having a $400 car payment for a BMW? Is it really worth me going on vacations every year, overseas, when I'm trying to buy a house?
Right.
Like, thinking about that long term and establishing those steps as to how I can get.
Definitely.
It's definitely things. It's definitely a piece of ourselves where we need to truly, because like you said, it is personal. So we need to go back and think and reflect and be honest with ourselves first and foremost, in order to be able to grow and move forward. So I agree with your point of surrounding yourself with people who are establishing those goals, because that will also help with that. With you establishing your own, it'll also give you the ability to, pick the brains of people who are around you. Two, thinking about, what's your long term goal, and thinking about what you can do to adjust those needs and wants to make your goal more attainable, right?
Right.
And
So,
then also somebody just said investing, to gain more financial freedom.
mhm.
Like what I think a lot of people needs to start exploring and researching is definitely investing in different markets. So whether you want to, move into real estate and have passive income by having a rental property, playing the stock market, whatever you would like to do to gain more of that financial freedom, I think it's definitely worth exploring. Because at the end of the day, at some point, hopefully the goal is to retire, right? The
well,
goal
let's
is
let's let's take the let's take a step back. Let's break down what Angel was asking here.
right,
Like, so she's looking for investing, but she needs to gain financial freedom. Like,
right.
so the question then becomes for everybody. I know it sounds like we are like in a high conversation, but this
Hmm.
is the whole point of it. Is what what does financial freedom look like to you?
Ooh,
That's the question.
what does financial freedom look like? That is a fair question. So what does that
So
mean?
let you take a shot at it. What's that? What does financial freedom look like to you?
So for me, and just based on, because I think about, like, my parents recently retired within the past 5 years.
Congrats, congrats.
So financial freedom to me is literally in a space where A, I can retire where I want, B, I can financially invest and do what I want, and B and C, use what I know and based on what I learned to also help others, right? Because what good is the knowledge, and that's just the educator in me, right? So what is good the knowledge that I have gained and attained, and to, you know that attributed to my own financial freedom without being able to share that with other people. And that's something that I do appreciate about that wallet within itself, because Anthony has literally attained financial freedom. He's also now looking to venture into um, navigating different investments into it to essentially um, expand his own portfolio, but also educate us at the same time. So essentially, those three things, being able to live and do what I want, invest what I want, and then also share that knowledge with other people.
Right. And for me, when it comes to financial freedom, and that's one of the things is that it is my journey to try to get there, mainly because of the student loans and that. So
Woohoo!
one thing is, why don't the president just do the flick of the wrist?
Navient, come on, dog. Like, I need
Yeah,
more. Um,
I got rid of them bad boys. So
feel you.
yeah, because and then I had to start focusing on the federal student loans. So that's where I'm at now.
Yes, sir.
Only one's left, and if they can do the flick of the wrist, be out of here.
Yes,
But
sir.
um, but it goes back to Elizabeth also brought up another thing. Man, Elizabeth is actually bringing up some good stuff in this.
Great stuff. I think
Hey,
she's
yeah, she's awesome. So
doing
I'm gonna
great.
read this out because I'm gonna take this audio and actually put it over to the podcast so we can listen to it later.
Mm-hmm.
It's so Elizabeth says maybe getting other support, maybe you invite a friend to the gym as well as motivate each other. So this goes back to the support side of the house that we were getting to. You know what I'm saying?
100%. So definitely putting yourself and building that community, right?
Mhm.
So the best way to be accountable to yourself is also be accountable to somebody else within that small circle, and support each other, right? Like that's the best way to navigate certain things. And I think that goes back to our point about surrounding yourself with people who want to move in the same way that you do,
Yep.
or even surrounding yourself with people who have done it before. One of the best things I always try to do, and this, well, first off, this is the reason why I love going to the barbershop, right?
Right.
um, my barber, in of like what he does, yes, he cuts, right? Like that's what he does. He's a barber. But he doesn't just have one barbershop. He has two. He has the one that he works in, and then the one across the street.
Right.
He doesn't just have two
But
barbershops.
did he name them two different companies so it looked like they're in competition?
Same company. It's just broken up sides of the street.
Smart, smart.
So not only is he charging booth rent, but he's also making money himself by cutting out of his own share.
Right.
He is doing that though. He has an apartment complex. He's flipping houses. He's doing a lot of things, right? And then every time he's also a comedian. So he is literally the jack of all trades. But a lot of people say jack of all trades, master of none,
Mm-hmm.
or finish that, right? The last line of that is, but it's always better to be better to be that than the master of one. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
literally dipped himself into several avenues and
But
had
you need a round of applause for that, dude.
right. He has multiple streams of income, just not from his barbering business, but also passive income from his apartment complex. Not only that, his kids have their own business. You know those little signs
Yeah.
on their front lawns for their birthdays?
Mm-hmm.
He's passing on that his business acumen and his knowledge to his children. So now his children have his own children. They're like they're elementary age and they have an LLC and they're literally on weekends setting up signs in people's lawns and charging them money for it. So now they pay for their own college and they're literally, I want to say no more than 13.
Hopefully y'all are out there taking notes and paying attention to this, because if y'all saw the intro, it's 2 minutes long. It actually says make sure you have your notepad and get your drinks, because
right.
Marcus, you and I, we were drinking offline, but I'm continuing to drinking online because we got 4 minutes before we start having our drink music.
For the record,
hey, what you got? What's that?
That is H2O. Water, sir. I have water.
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 Please,
like Waterboy used to say.
Right. So it goes back to, again, like we were talking about, having those people around you, and then not just the people, but also your parents. Because my mom is on here, and we had this discussion. If she ever calls in, I'll actually probably open it up the phone lines to have people call in. But we had a discussion about adding me as an authorized user when I was younger, and how I could have been a lot further. And all of us, like all of her children, we could have been further along if she just had done that. But she was talking about how she was afraid of messing up our credit, because she's actually came across other people who have done that. And one of those things about that is that, I know I'm saying that a lot. It sounds like I'm writing up my own bars. But but one of the things about the whole process of our parents is the comfortability of having those conversations.
Yes.
We only share what we're comfortable and what we know about. Because, like, say you and I could talk to you all day about adding your child as authorized user. Hey, letting your girlfriend be an authorized user. You can do it for free. It takes no time at all. You can do it right now. And you'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. All right, I know about it. But you won't share that information because you've never done it. You're not comfortable. You don't have I guess you could say the competency to be confident in sharing that information because you've never done it.
Right.
And one of the things that I love about this show, and when I started the show, was because I've been to the lowest of the low that I considered my low. And everybody has been to their own personal low and don't want to go back there anymore.
Right.
And how do we move ourselves and not give up and go to that next level? So it goes back to the beginning of the show, which I was talking about, which is, do we care enough to go the extra mile to not be where we were before?
I love that you literally just spoke about that point. So I think as we're thinking through and talking through the open discussion, I think the very first step is
you're going in and out.
That you said, do you actually want to change, right? Because the first step towards growth in anything is the desire to, right? And if you want to change, the next thing to do, like we've talked about already, is establishing a plan. And if you need help establishing a plan, that moves on to our next point, trying to find others that can help you establish that plan, right? Surrounding yourself with people who have either are in the process of, like you are, or who have already done it, and you can, lean on them as to help you to develop that roadmap, to develop that plan. Third thing is to execute, right? And by executing, you're establishing those small goals. To not necessarily always look at the long range plan, but understand that that's what the long term goal is, but set intermittent goals in between in order to you know provide you benchmarks as to what you need to maybe adjust, tweak, or continue to do based on your performance. But I think one person said earlier, like, I think it's very important for us not to, not be afraid of, taking that step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that, based on what our goal is in our situation, that we should not be letting fear paralyze us, right? This is the Money Podcast. Scared money don't make money.
Yep.
Risk taking, like, by us even establishing that plan, setting that goal, that's a risk.
Mhm.
And but you don't grow without taking risks, right?
Yep.
Um, me or even you, like, when you were navigating, I remember.
All right,
Um,
Marcus. Before
oh,
you
okay.
continue on, we gotta get down to the drinks because everybody's ready for these drinks right quick.
Hmm.
So, are you ready for your drink? Did you need a refill?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I can add more water. That's
Yeah, yeah,
perfect.
yeah. We gotta add some more water. All right, y'all ready? All right, please, everybody, if y'all in the chat right now, because y'all know what time it is. It's usually at 30 minutes we start our drinks. So, are y'all ready for drinks right now? Please say yes. If you feel like you saying no, just say yes anyway. But I
Mhm.
need to know in the chat right now. Go on and type in yes, so we can all get these drinks going. Cause I gotta get through uh my peach mango body armor, which is owned by what they call him, Black Mamba.
Ooh,
What's his name? The one that passed away in the airplane.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, we gotta pay his wife. So we gonna market the heck out of this. So y'all ready to roll? Let's see what we got. What we got fun. Yes. Drink time. Yes, it is. Yeah. We got Kobe. All right, everybody. Let's get our drinks on. Oh yeah. Let's see if we get our drink music. Hey. Sorry, Marcus. I know it's been a while since you've been on my live. All right, so we got the body up in there. All right. And then we got some my lovely exclusive 7. For those of you who don't know, is just joining, we did exclusive peach. Let me zoom in on here. This is the 35 alcoholic by volume, 70 proof. So for those of you who haven't drunk it before, please drink up and let me know in the chat what y'all are drinking. Because we gotta get through this before my wife kills me. So let's let's go on and knock this out. All right, Marcus. Sorry to interrupt, but we gotta make sure I get our drinks in. You okay with that, Marcus?
I'm gonna put this water.
Alrighty. Well, let's all drink music. I'm glad everybody having a good time. So, Carla, I'm not fired. Fired up. Let's go. Oh, Mom, you only got tea tonight? That's all right.
Go ahead, Mom.
Right. Carla, what you got? What you got? About that liver. You know what, Carla? You gonna get it. All right. So what y'all drinking out there? What y'all drinking? Let's see what we got out there. We got We got some shots from Elizabeth. All right, we got some beer. Oh, you got water. I'm drinking water too, Marcus. All right, we get a shot for. All right, Carla got some got vodka out there. See, that's all we got. Phil came on, but he didn't say what he drinking out there. I think he watching the Masked Singer. It's like I can never win. All right. So we got to drink music out the way. Sorry, Marcus, but we had to make sure we get that in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hopefully, you use your train of thought.
No, I didn't. So essentially, I would even say going back to our years at Morgan, like one thing that they always were like right before we graduated, like they always talked about establishing that career plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
For us, like literally getting dragged into Montebello. Was it Montebello? What's that building?
Montebello, yeah, that's where I got everything.
Right. So literally, they put us in a room with an advisor, and literally, he was like, "Yeah, you have a degree, or you're about to walk across that stage, but what's your plan? What are you gonna do with it?" And that was a legitimate question. Like, yeah, we have ed degrees. We're planning on being teachers, but is that where it's gonna stop?
Yep.
Right? Like, what is like what do you want to do with that degree? And at the time, being 21, 22, you're just like, man, I'm trying to get out here and work. I'm sick and tired of living on campus, off campus, being broke. I'm trying to get more money. Trying
So true.
apartment. But these are things that you start to think about, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
to invest in a newer car because I have to have something reliable to get to and from work, right? And then from there, okay, well, if I'm in a relationship, I want to settle down, possibly start a family. These are all these conversations that start to come up after a while,
Yeah.
right? So if you're loving what you're doing, is there another step that you would like to take within your career? For me, it was okay, I love education so much. I'm going to get my master's in it,
Mhm.
right? I'm going to try to move up to have a greater impact on the community,
See, and that's why I came to this side of the house, which is I wanted to do the education piece, but with finances.
which is something that you're great at and that you're doing and that you're sharing with the masses because you've lived it and now you're sharing your experience and what your expertise are, with essentially anybody who's willing to listen over the internet. Like that's a big deal.
Whoever's willing to listen there.
Right. So it's not even it's also about, like I said before, sharing what you know based on your experiences because it's real for you. But also educating others. And that was part of my 3 tiers that we talked about earlier.
Yep.
But yeah, so essentially again, going back to having that plan, once you start to, internalize it and self-reflect, you start asking yourself more questions, and those questions lead to other questions, which also will help you to start creating lists and developing that plan.
Definitely. So while this alcohol is actually going through my system, I started looking at my peeps because you know what I'm saying. We're gonna have a peep show today. Uh, I was actually just at the market, and I realized that um, Easter had recently passed, and I so love some peeps. And one of the things they'll love about peeps is that they are actually half off the day after Easter, and they have fresh inventory, so they so soft and squishy. So I'll be having one of these. Um, Angel brought up a good question. Sorry, Angel. I'm chewing and munching at the same time, but I love to drink music. Sorry, Marcus. Yeah, I get to go. Sir. Yeah, there you go. Take a drink, sir. Before we get to the next question. Right. That's not. um. So one of the cool things that Angel brought up, which was talking about freezer credit.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this was a hidden gem about, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I got a little small segment that I created, right? I think you might like this one. It's like 4 seconds. Hold on. Yeah, so I like the wallet news break. So I just created that. That was pretty cool. Uh, the cool thing about freezing your credit that a lot of people don't understand is that, oh, hold on, I gotta say hi right quick. Hey, Kristen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for stopping by to say hi. I know you're all the way at the West Coast, and it's like still early. They still got sunlight. It's crazy. All right, back to freezing credit. So one of the tips and tricks that I talked about early on in my show, excuse me, which was this alcohol is it, um, is that freezing your credit is one of the most important things that you can do in your lifetime because for one, it's free. It can't hurt you. And two is that it protects you from not so much identity theft, but it does protect your credit from people actually going in and trying to create new credit under your name. So you can actually do that for your children as well. And a lot of people don't know that.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah. So if you know somebody with a kid, share this information. Let them know that they can actually
Freeze
uh,
their kid.
freeze their kids' credit. The cool thing about freezing your credit is that even if you already have credit cards out there, it you can still get credit increases through that. However, just keep in mind that only because you have that history, they will actually go ahead on and do that credit increase.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a business, which I thought was pretty cool, I haven't done a freeze my credit with the business, but I can tell you that I just recently applied for a credit card and they just gave me $10,000 just because.
Oh,
I was,
congratulations. That's a big deal.
thank you, sir. So I can do free hotel stays at Hilton. So I got gold status.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. And freezing your credit is one of those hidden gems that a lot of people don't know. I would say start with the main three, but also look into the sub levels. Do you really need to go that far? It really depends on how far you want to lock it down, which is like Lexus Nexus. Then you got simple. I have it somewhere, but I do have all the printouts of all the credits. The sub, I think it's called Sage Stream.
Mm-hmm.
Sage, yeah, I think it's called Sage Stream. Is a secondary levels of credit, so they actually help out to see what are your previous addresses are, what are your previous history, job history, stuff like that. So that's what SafeStream does, and there's about a good 20 or so different aggregated companies that actually funnels up to the top three. So that's what the top three is looking at. All those 20 or so different companies to say, hey, this is the person that you're actually talking to. And that's where they come into play. And keep in mind, these are all private companies. So they're not even government funded, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Have you
great.
tried to use your credit?
I've never actually done that.
Oh,
That based on the feedback you just gave me, I just learned something today. So that's something that I might possibly explore for the future.
good.
That's good
It,
business.
it takes a second and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about it is that when you unlock your credit, you can unlock it for a certain period of time. So, say you're going for a house, right? Looking for a house,
Mm-hmm.
you can unfreeze it just for the time frame that the loan officer need to give you that
Pre-approval.
right loan, that pre-approval,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, you can freeze it. You can just it'll automatically freeze it for you. So I never do a permanent unfreeze. I always do a lift for a certain period of time so that
Mm-hmm.
they have that possibility to look over. So yeah, I'm sorry. Freeze credit, like I said, it goes to that competence level to confidence, and I've done it multiple times. So yeah, I love freezing. Actually, my credit's frozen right now.
That's great.
Carla, I'm not fired. I love my peeps. Okay, I don't deal with the bunnies or the holiday ones. It has to be Easter. It has to be the little chicky peeps because sometimes they don't put the dots on right. And so you get one where one of the dots are like way off, but they still taste the same. So
Yes.
good. Marcus, what are your money tips? What's something that you came across that's really good?
So for me, money tips. So wow, that's a great question. I think the best thing that anybody can do is make sure that whatever job that you have, making sure that you're putting enough away to where you don't miss it, especially in the process of a promotion, right? So yes, you're going to get an increase. You're literally you just earned a financial increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, congratulations, great job. But before you spend that first paycheck, think about before you actually inserting yourself into that lifestyle, right? Of having more money. Think about how much you can actually take of that money to put away towards retirement. Um,
Ooh, I like that. Go ahead.
that's something that I think that we can all like. It's always great to have more money to, you know, promotion, all that fun stuff. But think about how much of that money you actually can put away before you start, making moves and making changes to your life based on, your promotion. So I think that's my big tip is in the midst of an increase, right? A financial increase, before you commit yourself to this new financial lifestyle, but before you start spending that money, think about how much money you can put away. That's my tip.
Okay. So what is it? Some of those tips that are out there, and I'm gonna read this question that came from Phil, which is freezing your credit was recommended by one of my credit bureau reps when my identity was stolen years ago.
Ooh.
Froze my daughter's credit recently too.
Mm.
So it goes to show that freezing your credit is very important. And I'm actually purposefully ignoring all the people that said peeps are nasty and they like candy corn. I hate candy corn. Peeps are not candy corn. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
going back to this this freezing your credit business is that it's really important to understand that this is one of the free things that you can do right now while you're listening to this live. You can actually go over to each of the top three credit bureaus, which is Experian.com.
Right.
You go to TransUnion.com
Oh,
and
FICO.
my what's the other one? It's begin with the E. It's Experian and yeah, my Equifax. Go to my
Yes.
Equifax to make sure it's a proper term. It's myequifax.com. Make sure that you freeze your credit. Especially if you're not planning on buying anything within the next couple of days. It can't hurt to freeze it, especially right now because it is tax season. People just finished, and a lot of people are signing into their tax information. So a lot of the social security numbers are flying around. So you just want to make sure that you're covered and that somebody out there is not taking advantage of your wonderful credit score, regardless of what it is, even
And
if
I
it's the low 400s.
and I think a good rule is, I mean, some people don't have the luxury of filing super early, because they own houses, because they own businesses, because they have a lot of passive income coming in. Like we talked about earlier, about renting out, houses and owning apartment complexes and having multiple businesses. And I think, like you just said, freezing your credit is something that you can do so that, God forbid your identity is stolen, nothing's going to happen to it, because and it's going to get caught by those credit bureaus because somebody is trying to use your identity to have access to your credit. So
Mm.
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful point, especially around this time of year where, from February essentially, until now, people are, navigating taxes and getting their tax, or trying to get their tax bills paid, figuring out refund status, all that fun stuff. So I definitely support. The more I think about it, the more points that people bring up. Freezing your credit, especially around tax season.
Mm-hmm.
Great, 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 great idea.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead on and start talking about some pod decks. You ready for some questions, Marcus?
Sure.
All righty, let's hold on. All right, everybody. Please put in a yes or no if you're ready for pod decks. Either way, you're gonna get it. So it doesn't matter. Because it's my show.
This episode is powered by Poddecks. Poddecks are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience and have more meaningful conversations, you're going to want to check out Poddecks. Now, if you want to get 10% off your order right now, you can go to poddecks.com and type in coupon code. What's the code? Yes, that's the code. Check out poddecks.com. Take your podcast to the next level.
All right, for those of you who are listening, the promo code is a wallet, capital WALLET. So for the pod decks, I don't have like cool music for pod decks, so that's kind of all I got until I download some more music. So Marcus, have you ever used pod decks?
No, I have not, sir.
Alrighty, and I take it you never heard about it from my show either.
Not until now.
All right. Thanks for the honesty. I can't ask for anything more. So usually pod decks, you can have like a 5-set deck or whatever. But these are 2 that I usually pull from because they have some good ones. But for you, sir, I love the app side of the house. And I usually take comments for phone calls. So let's start off with one question, and we're going to have people call in just for that one question. And because I have the Poddecks app, for those of you who've been watching this show for a long time, I have the Poddecks app right here. And I will go through. We talked about dating last time. But this time, we're going to talk about, self-growth. So with self-growth, okay. I like this question. Go through a couple of these. What are you currently? Okay. Here you go. All right. I like this question. What are you most nervous about in the future, and how can you prepare for it?
That is a great question. What are you most nervous about for the future, and how can you prepare for it?
Yeah.
So is that a question you're asking to me now? So
yeah, let's go for it. Let's hop on the hot seat.
Honestly, I'm on a hot seat. I think what I'm most nervous about now, I'm gonna think career-wise, right? So I will say taking on more leadership responsibility. As in possibly even running my own school, right? So having that final decision rest with me. And I think a second one that I can honestly say, since this is a pod about finances, is taking a financial risk and not receiving any benefits from that. What
do you mean by that?
So not that this is just a random example, just because off the top of my head. So I would like to explore I'll say this, just flip houses and things like that. Because in my opinion, real estate over the next, I would say 3 to 4 years is going to be crazy. So literally investing in a house and then having to fork out more money to flip it based on the issues with it versus, and then that affecting my profit margin, um, and how to essentially navigate that, right? Or let's take it to what we're seeing in ads all over YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, cryptocurrency,
Mhm.
right? Taking money and throwing it at the stock market with doggy coin,
Donkey Coin, Donkey
yeah,
Coin. I got you.
Bitcoin, all these other cryptocurrencies, and hoping to somehow, some way, someday, obtain a profit, right? There's always some level of risk involved, but I think my biggest fear for whatever financial move I'm trying to do, this is a financial show, is possibly losing money. I don't gamble for that reason, right? Like I don't like going to a casino and playing penny slots because there is that risk of me walking out with $20 less than what I had. But then again, like I said, scared money don't make money, right? So
That's true.
at some point, whether it's, the casino, which I don't like going to,
Mhm.
whether it's, playing the stock market, whether it's investing in properties, there's always financial risk involved. But also on the career side, taking that next step higher in leadership and being that final say is scary for me. But
Yeah, you got a co-signer here. Angel said, "I'm with you on the real estate aspect, Marcus. Let's link up in the next site change for the happy hour." Yeah, I think it's time for another happy hour. We should have another happy hour. Y'all ready for another happy hour? Let's hit yes for another happy hour. We only got like 3 minutes left anyway for the show, but I think we can make this run a little longer because I think we all having a great time.
Mhm.
So, since everybody's waiting for another happy hour drink, let's have some drink. Only because I like the music. All right, Marcus. I know you're only drinking water, sir.
I'm all out of water.
You're still waiting over it until I'm done drinking. So this will be the last one since I've been drinking the whole hour. It's a change since the show started. Oh man, it's great. All right, I'm gonna keep the music going. But anyway, y'all are great. So I have to say, yeah, one of those things about being afraid of about the future, I'll answer with you because for me, I am afraid of what would it look like to be debt free,
Ooh.
and
Ooh.
that one thing right there is like, it's one of those goals that you wish you had, but then it's like, well, when it happens, then what? And that's where I'm at. It's like, what will happen if I'm debt free? I don't know. I would sit. I'll probably take 2 months off from work just to kind of think, do I really need to work anymore? And do I need to what would be the next goal? The big audacious goal. And they call
Right.
it the bag. For those of you who don't know, usually when you hear bag, it stands for big audacious goal. Some people say instead of the audacious, they say the ASS, the big ass goal. So now I gotta put this explicit. All right. So now it's gonna be an explicit episode. So it's gonna be the big ass goal. Is one of those things is that you have to think about what it is that's happening, because Elizabeth brought up a good statement here as well, is that for her is being a parent. what I can do to talk with others that are parents already and get advice on how to navigate it.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not a parent, but I do have a book recommendation. And I always recommend it a lot, which is perfectly titled Why Have Kids? A new mom explores the truth about parenting and happiness. So,
Mhm.
Elizabeth, I highly recommend this book. Actually, I might be able to give this to you tomorrow, just in case if you want to read it tomorrow, just because, we're good friends. I can pass this along because I read this book, only got through chapter 2, and I have to say that it was a lot to dive into that I never thought of that a woman would go through having children. And one of those things about having children that you don't think about is, do you have everything that a child needs?
Ooh, that's got to be definitely something that is more on the stressful side, right? Because
Mm.
I mean, like she said, leaning on others and their experiences, but is that voice in the back of your head asking you like, did you think of everything, right?
Right.
And that's definitely a question that I'm pretty sure, because I don't have kids myself. I just have a dog, but it's definitely a question that has to cross every parent's mind. Like, do I have everything?
Yeah. And in this book, she was talking about how she was not able to breastfeed her child, and she had to live on formula to kind of get her child because she was going through depression because she could not breastfeed her child.
Right.
And that was one of those tipping points for me. It was like, as a guy, it was like, hey, I did my job, you know what I'm saying? I'm dead. And you always hear that from other guys. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Look what I did and blah blah blah. But you don't think about from the woman's aspect of what they go through from the weight gain, from are they going to do a C-section or are they going to take it naturally? What are those how are they feeling emotionally? Are they supported through that process? Um, are you as a guy, being tentative to their mood swings? When they have those cravings for like some Dunkin' Donuts at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Are you willing as a guy to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go get some donuts for them to munch on, so forth? For those of you who are listening, I am taking phone calls, so the phone number is there available. You can more than welcome to call in to kind of chime in on this because Marcus and I both don't have kids, so we're willing to listen because this is one of the. I know there's a whole nother show. I might have to actually cut this episode and bring it to a whole nother show because when it comes to kids and finances, it's one of those things that is kind of taboo on me because I don't have kids.
I think it will be great for you to even have a panel of
Oh,
brother,
we got a caller. We
other
got
Press
father.
stopper. Call for.
hello. Who am I speaking with?
This is Carla. Hi.
Whoa, thank you, Carla. This alcohol is hitting.
So let me just,
Yeah, go ahead.
huh?
I said this alcohol is
Let
hitting.
me just say, oh, it is. Mine is too. Thank you very much. Um, but let me tell you, I didn't plan to have kids. Like, honestly, I remember when I was younger, I said I always wanted to get a monkey and I would dress it up and take it around, blah, blah, blah. That was just how I thought as a kid because I didn't want to have kids because my mom had too many of them. So here comes Ariel.
Ooh,
Wasn't
Ariel.
playing, like not all kids are playing. My daughter.
Yeah, I know who Ariel
So,
is. I said woo, WOOOOOO
mhm.
exclamation point.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But honestly, I think that if I had another kid, it probably would spit fire and blow horns. It was, but I'm very blessed to have Ariel because she came out
Man.
nothing like me. So yeah. But why have kids?
I give you your props for
I
that.
think it's a
Yes.
personal choice.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, kids are expensive. Kids are expensive, and it depends on what type of parent you are too. Because sometimes some parents will say 18 is optional. Some parents will say some parents they're there for the long haul. But it's definitely very it's a very expensive, not even a toy, but it's very expensive. Whether it's a mistake or planned, very very expensive.
Absolutely understood.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that a lot of parents and young parents that are listening right now who are not parents or already have kids right now is not even thinking
Mhm.
about or could have thought about it and really taking a step back and relating to how expensive is it for a child, especially with the inflation that's happening.
Mhm.
Then you have the child tax credit
Mhm.
that's coming through. Then you have, the sports and all that fun stuff because there was a recent article they were talking about on WTOP, no, NPR. I was listening to NPR on the way home today, and they were talking about how because this whole stimulus thing that came out with the child tax credit, they were able to. There are a lot of people that could not afford it. They were actually putting their kids through extracurricular activities
Mhm.
because the poor
Mhm.
and I guess you could say the lower middle class were able to actually put their children through some of the activities that they would never thought they would.
Mhm.
But since you've been pregnant, what is the one thing that you were craving during your pregnancy?
I definitely was. I was craving pickles and turkey, like wrapped in turkey, wrapped with turkey, and I also
Pickles wrapped with turkey?
don't even judge. Yeah, but don't
Emotional.
you even judge me. Don't y'all even judge me for this. Like,
Okay.
just don't. Okay.
Okay.
Um, I loved pig feet at the time.
Mm.
Ooh,
Pig
taking it
feet.
out.
I was eating pig feet.
Pig
Huh?
feet?
Yeah, pig feet.
Pig
That's
feet. Disgusting.
Mm.
okay. There's no judge.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, it's disgusting. And after Ariel was born, I didn't eat pork for 23 years after
Wow.
she was born. I don't know, but for some reason it was like every 2 weeks or once a week. I just wanted to have like pig feet. I don't know why, but that was disgusting, and I would never ever put another foot in my mouth again. Like disgusting. It's a pig foot. I
Pig
don't.
feet. See,
Yeah.
and this is one of the things
And I
that.
haven't shared that with anybody.
Oh,
And I have not shared that with anybody in many years. But yeah,
I'm glad
you
that you
had to
actually
ask
took time and
about my
felt,
cravings.
and I'm glad that you felt comfortable to share it with us today. And
For
because
sure.
it's one of the touching moments that a lot of people don't hear about. And as guys, this is a guy chat right now, and I'm glad that you brought in that
Hmm.
the woman perspective of what's happening because I think it'll help out Lisbeth as she becomes a mother. Like, how could
Hmm.
what are your tips for her right now since you got you on a call and she's probably listening in?
Tips of being a mother, becoming a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Uh, well, I was young. I wasn't as young as some, but I was young. I was 22
Hmm.
when I was pregnant. But if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have done it any different because my past is what makes me the person that I am today, and I love myself today.
Yes, ma'am.
But I would definitely start now with saving and putting away, whether it's for your child's college fund or whether it's for your child just a nest egg because you never know what can happen. You shouldn't just have an emergency fund for yourself, but have an emergency fund for your child as well, because unexpected things happen.
Yes.
And what else? But I mean, it's important to like read and things that our grandparents tell us and our parents may tell us. We're gonna do different a lot of times than how they raised us. So you're gonna have that mother's intuition. You're gonna have that, and trust your gut. So you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. But it's definitely important to have that nest egg, and definitely important to and also I highly recommend breastfeeding.
Okay.
It not only saves money, but I mean it saves a whole hell of a lot of money. But it's very good for the child. And I know some people frown their nose up at it, but and La Leche League is very, very good support group for that. But hey, anybody having a child in this pandemic right now, put away some money. I mean, even before then, but yeah, definitely.
That's great. I love the feedback. That's awesome.
Thank you
We
so much.
appreciate peace and sharing, your story and using your story to help somebody else within this forum. Like that, yeah, we appreciate you.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Carla. All right, Carla. So, what is
You're welcome.
your best favorite podcast of the show?
You said what's my favorite podcast?
Yes.
That's not fair. You have a couple of favorite podcasts.
What are your top three podcasts that you listen to?
Well, I have a weakness for Donna Rollins.
Okay.
I love Donna Rollins podcast, and yeah, it may be garbage to some, but I love comedy. Comedy is my first love. I love the podcast that we're on together.
Woo,
I love supporting
Highway 54
podcasts. Yes, and I love like in the beginning when you first started your podcast, I didn't get to see, the very like beginning, and then when you started sharing with me that you were doing the podcast, I was able to, catch up and look at some things. So I mean, there's a few podcasts I like. I like Kevin Hart's. It just all goes into comedy with me because I'm always being silly. But I like informative podcasts when it comes to learning about money. So About That Law is very good. And this one, what are their names? There's two black guys. It's right on the tip of my tongue. What's up? Really?
Yeah, I gotta get the girls to support, you know what I'm saying?
Are they comedians?
I'm sorry?
Are the people you're thinking
I
of? Are
was in the past. Oh, you said no, they're not comedians. They're money. They talk about money. I can't remember what
Earnly at Leisure? Those guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I like them. I like the Wall Street Trapper, I think that's his name.
Yep. Okay.
There's a lot. I don't have like one particular favorite one. There's just so many. I just have the certain ones that I listen to. But you're doing a great job, Anthony, and I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Let me see if I can get a round of applause over here. I need to get some more sound bites. Because I do appreciate you coming on, and you've been supporting the show for ever, it seems like. And just from being a wonderful colleague, even at work we used to cut up. But we try to not to cut too much up because nobody would like us anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to But we can't be serious all the time, right?
Yeah. Because
So,
these peeps, you know what I'm saying? Don't be joining on my peeps. You're
you know
50%
what? You are
off.
such a Viking for that.
They are
That
50%
ain't even.
off, ma'am.
That is not okay. Like, who even invented peeps?
I don't care who invented them. They are amazing when it comes to taste buds,
And
especially
if
with
you are
vodka.
about your wallet, you would not be about those peeps.
You know what? We gotta cut you out this show. That's what we gonna do. Marcus, you got any last words for Carla before we hang up on her?
Oh no, I really her candor. I expertise. For the record, I don't like peeps either. I'm definitely team candy corn.
You know
Um,
what? Y'all both
so
got to get cut off.
will never ever
Did you
ingest
say you're King Candy Corn?
team candy corn over peeps. I do not. If I had to choose between the two, I would eat candy corn instead. I do not like marshmallow
Yeah,
covered sugar
I would
like
eat
that.
crayons.
You know what?
That's disgusting.
I think it's time for y'all to go to bed.
That is. Oh my goodness! I can't even. I can't believe. You know what? You ain't even got to hang up
You
on
know
me. I'm
what?
gonna
I'm
hang
gonna
up
hang
because
up.
I ain't
You
about
know
to
what?
watch
You
it.
can hang up too. Hang up. Thank you for
Thank
calling.
you so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we're gonna hang up on her.
Oh my
Can't
god.
go in the trash. Thank you, Brother Brown. So Brother Brown came on. All right. So I know we are like well over.
Yes, sir.
And Marcus, I know you ran out of drink. I ran out of drink.
For sure.
So I think it's time to call this show a wash. I want to thank everybody. Marcus, I want to thank you, sir, for coming on to the show because we had a wonderful time here. And Jamal Brown always bringing in the Hennessy, I think it's called a VSOH, something like that. I don't know what it's called. Something that put hairs on your chest when you're not even thinking about it. But that's what he does.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna play out the drink song because I think it's such a matter of fact. No, I'm gonna play out my outro because it makes sense. All right, Marcus, you good to go? Oh, please make sure that you take a look at the Average Sports Guys podcast. That's where Marcus is a co-host on. Marcus, please do your outro. I'm sorry, I
So,
don't talk over
so
you.
Average Sports Guys podcast. We're currently on a sabbatical, but we will be getting back to the NFL news very soon. Um, we typically like to, I mean, especially around draft time, talk about draft prospects, pre and post draft. We like to talk about draft moves, trades. We like to talk about everything during the season. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Eddie is a Washington Commanders fan. We definitely like to have different sports figures all over the sports world within our podcast and come on and share their thoughts. But we definitely like to check in here and then in reference to the NFL. And that's what we like to do. So please come on over to Average Sports Guys. That's my podcast. You can check us out on any platform, and listen to the pod. Check us out. We'll be back up soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marcus. And again, like Carla said, buy some ATW draws because we got some draws in the house. And with my draws, you actually feel like $1,000,000. I just got a bunch of dollar signs and a king's hat. So you can actually feel like a king or a queen when you wear these draws, even though they God draws. But you know what I'm saying? They're green and yellow. They're green and yellow all over the place. Marcus, I'll make sure I get some draws and I'm a model for everybody. So make sure y'all get some. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. And it's been an awesome show having y'all on the show. All right, everybody. Y'all take care. I'm out.